This is the ArtBot with the DIY STEM kits. And first we're going to look at our materials. We're going to need markers, a cup, some batteries, a battery pack, a motor, tape, and then a propeller from your kit, and then a dime. So the first thing I'm going to look at is where I want to position my motor, because I'm going to put the propeller on my motor and I don't want the propeller to hit my cup as it's spinning. So encourage youth, there's no right or wrong placement for this motor as long as it can function properly. Their ArtBots can look completely different than your own. So once I have that in place, I can then start to think about where I'm going to put my battery pack. And I personally positioned it on the side to kind of counterbalance my motor and keep my cup so it'll stand up straight. So I'm just now attaching the positive lead to the positive end of the motor and the negative to the negative. And I'm not going to put my batteries in yet because I'm not using a switch. So when I put my batteries in, the motor is just going to start spinning. So once I get that all attached, I can then use my tape to adhere the motor and the battery pack to my cup. And they can use foam tape or masking tape for this process, or hot glue even. Just remind them if they are using hot glue to be careful because the plastic cups aren't very thick and they can get really warm on the inside as well if you're pressing down on the pieces. So once I have everything kind of taped in, take a look, and I'm also going to just make sure my motor can't move anywhere, that we need the vibrations on the cup in order to make this work. So everything's going to be kind of tight in. Now I'm just connecting the wires together with a piece of tape so they don't get in the way, and I'm going to test out my motor, make sure everything's working. So as we can see, the cup isn't moving anywhere, but my fan is definitely spinning. So this is good progress, but we need some vibrations to happen in order to get our robot to actually draw. So I'm just going to take out one of the batteries, and this will turn off my motor for now. And the next thing I'm going to do is position my markers like a tripod. You can challenge you to figure out how they can get them to balance with more or less markers. So I am just going to form a tripod shape with the 3 markers that I have, and I'm going to go around, and I'm just using masking tape to attach these pieces so I can get the markers back off later if I need to. Once those are attached, your cup should pretty much stand on its own. And you can test again just to make sure that everything's still working, and you can really see what we're talking about when we mean these vibrations. So even with everything attached and I have my legs on, my cup isn't going anywhere, so it's not going to draw anything unless I push it. Creating this drawing aspect is what happens next. So in order to do that, I'm going to remove the battery from my battery pack so everything turns off, and I'm going to use a dime here. I'm in Germany, so this is a different currency, but you can use a dime here. It's a little bit smaller, and you're just going to attach it to the propeller of your motor with a piece of tape. This weight is going to cause vibrations. So really this is what's going to allow our robot to move and bounce around for us. So when I put my battery back in this time, you should notice a big difference between how my robot is moving. And now that we have that motion, we can remove the caps on our markers and put down a piece of paper. You might have youth tape down the piece of paper so it doesn't wiggle away from them, but this is also a great time to challenge them to see if they can create other kinds of art. You know, if they modify their robot and get a different result, that would be really fun, or just to make it look a little different, or they can decorate their robot. When you're done, you're going to take a battery out, put all the caps back on, and it's ready for next time.